The sheets in my washing machine are probably developing green mould as I speak, because I've left them in the machine since yesterday and I have to iron them, but I'm not taking them out till I've made this video. So I do hope you appreciate the sacrifices I'm making. You see, I did promise you the Railman video, didn't I? And I've decided I really have to get it done now. It's an article which I found in the Telegraph on the 4th of May. So for all I know, the situation is done and dusted now. But I'm going to just take this article and talk about it. And the headline is as follows: Rail conductor sues after he was sacked for questioning black privilege. And the subheader is former West Midlands Trains employee, and that former should give you a clue about a little problem we have, or he has, who left his microphone after, I think they mean left his microphone on. Okay, left his microphone on after Zoom diversity training was overheard criticising the session. Now, as most of you know, I suppose this is a photograph of the gentleman, by the way, Simon Isherwood, the senior conductor manager. All right, so he's a senior man. He's been in his job for a while. He's experienced, and they're sacking him. That's a good idea, isn't it? By West Midlands Trains after being caught questioning black privilege during Zoom diversity training. Now, as I was going to say, questioning diversity training or any form of woke culture now is instant cancellation, isn't it? You cannot question the orthodoxy. And indeed, if you do, it shows you're a very bad person, even if, as it seems, you are good at your job. All right. A rail conductor is suing his former employer after he was sacked when he was caught questioning black privilege during video conference diversity training on white privilege, a tribunal is to hear. I absolutely hate this term, white privilege. It makes no sense at all. It's a buzzword, but everybody seems to be using it now, especially in the managerial classes. And the only reason I can think of is that they're using it as a stick to beat the white working classes. I shall continue. Simon Isherwood, 60, from Northampton, was summarily dismissed for gross misconduct from West Midlands Trains, WMT, in March last year after he accidentally left his microphone on, meaning his colleagues overheard him criticising the webinar's contents. Let's just go back to that again. He's 60, so it means he's been doing his job for a few years and he knows something about it. He's also not so old that he's decrepit, and not so young that he hasn't seen it all before. He is, though, at 60, nearing retirement age, which strikes me as somewhat more than coincidental. And it may be that this is West Midlands Trains' way of getting, or trying to get rid of a drag on their financial resources, really, because they'd have to pay him some sort of a retirement thing, wouldn't they? But not if he gets sacked for gross misconduct. You know, I thought gross misconduct was something like being caught with your hand in the till of the holiday fund, or the employee's holiday fund, or maybe the inappropriate or maybe, you know, sort of some sort of inappropriate attitude towards customers, one way or the other. So, but no, gross misconduct is The session in January last year was attended by around 80 staff members from East Midlands Railway, Westminster Midlands Railway, and Mr. Isherwood's former company, London North Western Railway, which is owned by WMT. At the end of the session, whilst staff were thanking the host, "Oh, hallelujah! I am saved! I've seen the light!" Well, the staff were doing something like that. He was overheard telling his wife, now I'm going to be a little bit careful with the language here. He was telling his wife, "I couldn't be asked because I thought, you know what, I'll just get effing angry. You know what I really wanted to ask," he said, "and I wish I had. Do they have black privilege in other countries? So if you're in Ghana," now, that's a point, isn't it? Ghana is a majority black country, majority African, and Britain is a majority white. So what he was asking there was, is white privilege simply a nasty way of saying that there are more people here who are white, so the culture is going to be constitutionally more European? Whereas in Ghana, it's going to be constitutionally more African. And in my opinion, a reasonable thing to say. Here we are. But, you know, it's funny here, I just see the newspaper has found it necessary to tell people about the Ghanaian population. Ghana has a population that is around 98% black and 2% white, in contrast to the UK's population of around 86% white and 3% black. What? Oh, I see. What they're saying is that the 3% black are African type people, and the rest, whatever's left, will be of other ethnicities of colour, whatever way round you like to put that. So East Asians and Indians and Pakistanis and that sort of thing. So there's something wrong with all of this. Because if you notice, they didn't mention the other people, just the 2%, just the 3% black. It's a bit weird, those figures. Mr. Isherwood says he made the private remark unaware his phone was still recording via Microsoft Teams, with 30 people still listening, because he felt diversity trainers in the session were indoctrinating their view on us, that implied all white people are racist, but I'm not. Look, you know what? I don't care. Your private opinions are your private opinions. You shouldn't have to justify them. I'm quite sure he isn't, but that's not the point. My question is, when I get on a train, I want to be sure that the train is safe, that my luggage doesn't get stolen, that I don't get beaten up by highwaymen or robbers of various sorts, that everything is running in an orderly way, and that I get to my destination in reasonable time. That's what I really care about. And I ask somebody who is working for the railway, can you do this job? Can you protect me in some way if I'm in trouble? Can you get medical attention in some way if I'm having some sort of a medical problem? Can you make sure that the train doesn't hit the buffers at the other end, like our civilization is doing now? Can you keep order in various ways, or do you know how to get other people who can keep order? Are you any good at that job? That is all I ask when I get on a train. I'm not interested in his personal opinions. I don't care if he's woke or had diversity training or not. And whatever colour I would be, I would expect the same service. So in what way would diversity training change that situation for somebody who is good at his job? No way at all. So a diversity training thing is a total waste of time, and it's just a way of oppressing, generally, yeah, oppressing working class people. But his remarks prompted colleagues to complain to bosses that they were disgusted and angered by the comments. Mr. Isherwood was suspended while an internal disciplinary probe took place. I'm going to look up the word colleague in the dictionary and I'll put it up there. But it'll say something like workmates. Well, how would you put it? Workmates, co-workers, employees of the same rank, something like that. That would be colleagues, wouldn't it? But that's not what these people are. I mean, there's probably a whole list. I'll put that list up there, and you can look at associates. Oh yeah, you can think of a whole lot of stuff. Comrades, how about that? But these people who are disgusted and angered, they are not colleagues. They are the precise opposite of colleagues. I'd say they are antagonists, and more possibly just simply rivals. When you get rid of somebody who can think, then even if you can't think, you have a chance of getting their job. Completely shocked. Mr. Isherwood was sacked after West Midlands Trains, the parent company of London North Western Railway, ruled that he had caused offence. Oh, and there is no worse sin. Brought the company into disrepute. He asked a question. Aren't you supposed to want people who are creative and think things through? That is not disrepute. Where am I? And breached our equality, diversity and inclusion policy in the Code of Conduct. He didn't. He asked a question. He spoke about a philosophical problem he had with an indoctrination class. He didn't bring the company into disrepute. What has brought the company into disrepute is the conduct of West Midlands Trains. Now, Isherwood is taking the company to an employment tribunal to be held in Watford on Thursday and Friday, suing for unfair dismissal. I wonder how he got on. His case is backed by the Free Speech Union. Now, the Free Speech Union is a wonderful organisation started by what, in my opinion, is a real hero, Toby Young, and a couple of other people, but I know it was Toby Young who's one of the prime movers. And he is working very hard. He was the one who got involved in the Harry Miller case, for instance, and a few other things. Harry Miller was the guy who retweeted something and got a call from the retweeted, or it was a Facebook post or whatever, and got a call from the police for a non-crime hate thingy. I don't even know. They make these things up. Mr. Isherwood told the Telegraph, "I'm completely shocked. I was at home in my own time talking to my wife. It was a private conversation. I had no idea anyone was listening to me. It doesn't matter if they were. You're allowed to ask questions, or at least you should be. I lost my job, my income, my reputation, my health is absolutely shot to pieces." Yep. I'd worked there for 11 and a half years. Okay, so this is 11 and a half years of experience. And probably before that as well. It's just this place. And never had anything but promotion, praise and awards. And even now I can't believe it. So he's had promotion, praise and awards, which means he is good at his job. And they're shoving him out. And then when people can't get the right sort of attitude from the staff, West Midlands Trains will go, "Oh, I wonder why." All I was trying to do was understand the subject better. Oh, no, you were questioning it, and there's nothing wrong with that either. We had been asked to think of questions, so I did exactly what I was asked to do. I said Ghana because it's something I always used to talk about with one of my colleagues, who's from Ghana, and supported me. Mr. Isherwood internally appealed in April last year against his dismissal, but this was rejected and no further right of appeal was allowed. Now, Mr. Isherwood, you see, this is the worst of it. To keep his job, he actually had to abase himself. Mr. Isherwood had no record of any previous misconduct, showed sincere remorse during... sincere remorse? What for? He asked a question. He made a point. Britain is a majority white country. Ghana is a majority black country. Obviously, in both cases, the society will be set up without privilege, just set up for the majority. That's what that's what voting is all about, isn't it? The majority get the government, at least in Britain. The majority who vote, that is. Okay. And nothing suggested he was racist. You know, you've got to prove, oh, I'm not racist. Proving a negative. You can't do that. What he should be asked is he good at his job? Has he shown any partiality with regard to service for any customers who are around? No and no, yes and no. Right, okay, carry on. He's now seeking compensation through the courts, alleging his dismissal was unfair, unreasonable and unlawful. It was all three of them and more. It was immoral as well, including that his comments did not constitute gross misconduct. They were a question. And that the true reason for his dismissal was WMT's fear of facing allegations from colleagues about my conduct. Well, as I said, not colleagues. People taking advantage of the situation. I want to... okay, before I finish off, the Telegraph understands that WMT deny the allegations, believing that Mr. Isherwood's remarks were offensively expressed. He was talking to his wife privately. Pejorative? In what way is it pejorative to say there are more white people than black people in this country and more black people than white people in Ghana? What's pejorative about that? Dismiss it. Now, again, here, I don't know whether this is a problem with the Telegraph sub-editor or with WMT. I suspect it was WMT. I have noted before that when people are woke, their grammar tends to break down as well. And I suppose it's because of some sort of a disconnect in their brain. And maybe it's just because they're ignorant people, which is why they were woke in the first place, because the grammar on this is all over the place and it's not entirely clear what they're saying. Believing that Mr. Isherwood's remarks were offensively expressed, pejorative dismissiveness of its efforts to address the subject of white privilege, and that it was reasonable to treat Mr. Isherwood's conduct as serious misconduct. It's just a dreadful word salad. Okay, so if I just had that last paragraph, I'd know they were in the wrong. Now, I just want to mention Toby Young, because he started this organisation called the Free Speech Union, and as you will have worked out, he is dealing with issues like this, where somebody says something and then the sky falls in on them. The problem is this. Well, hang on, before I get to the problem of this, I want to say that the government are pushing a law through Parliament called the Online Hate Bill or something, and it's, from the way they framed it, it's as if, you know, going against it. Well, what's the matter? Do you like online hate? You know, it's that sort of an argument. But Toby Young has said it's one of the greatest threats to free speech. You know, you can take anything as online hate. And the problem is with these things, it's the offence you take, not actually what's going on, that seems to push the process. So, you know, you make a joke, somebody takes offence, and then you find yourself in trouble. So people are going to start shutting up, basically. Because they're frightened of being caught by this sort of thing. I understand the government they're talking about how kids are being bullied online and that sort of thing. And I understand that, but there must be other ways. Because what this new bill is doing is just another step. It started with Tony Blair and the Racial and Religious Hatred Act in the he tried to get it in the 1990s, and he kept pushing it. It was pushed by a lot of, let's put it this way, a particular religious organisation who promised their vote in return for this law. Work out for yourself who and why. And what happened was that he finally got it pushed through just before the Labour Party were booted out. Well, a lot of people have been caught by that law, a lot of innocent and very puzzled people. And this is another law which is going in a similar direction, but it's broadening the whole thing out now. It's not just racial and religious hatred, it's all sorts of stuff. There are elements of it that are reasonable, but most of it isn't. And it's Toby Young's been talking against it, but nobody's taking any notice. And so this is what I'm saying. This guy, Isherwood, might win his court case. He might have already won it. He might get compensation, although I doubt he'll get as much as he really deserves. But it's a small piece. Toby Young is trying to hold the tide back with a bucket. It's like attacking a tank with a teaspoon. You might dent the paintwork a little bit, but it'll still roll over you. It really worries me. All right, well, I'm Granny Opterix. I'm to be found on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. And let's see. On Minds, some of my videos don't get uploaded because if they're longer than 20 minutes, Minds won't accept them anymore. I am at Granny Opterix on Twitter, Gab and Parler. And when I upload a video, I let you know on Twitter, Gab and Parler. So if you subscribe to at Granny Opterix on one of those, then you'll always get a notification. Sometimes, or frequently, YouTube doesn't tell people when I've uploaded a new video. All right, so that's it. Please like this video. Please share it and contribute, if you can, to the upkeep of my channel. And, oh, yeah, click like. Did I say that? Yes, I did. And subscribe. I mean, YouTube keeps dropping the subscriptions, so check it out. But it does help the algorithm. All right, until next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granny Opterix design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.grannyopterix.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.